You know what I'm saying? And we're live. You know, folks say, oh, I know what it is. Welcome. Hold on. welcome, everybody. This is the Black Wealth Project. What's up, people? This is the Black Wealth Project. This is our Sunday show. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's going to be a whole lot different tonight because I'm hosting tonight. Our brother Camari is actually should be home soon, so I'll be hosting this evening. So, you know, we're going to have a lot of fun this evening. Our topic is Black to the Future. You know, that's what our brother Malik came up with the title. You know, all props to him. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing, though? Before we even get into the folks. And by the way, as you guys come in, let us know who's here. Check in with us. But what's up, you guys?
Oh, man, I'm feeling great, man. I'm energized. I've been all around the country, still traveling. So I'm back and feeling good.
Bro, you was in Wakanda this past week. Before then, what you was
yeah, I did.
Connecticut?
I was in Wakanda. Before that, Connecticut. Before that, Cartagena.
Yeah, listen,
Cartagena.
He out here selling these books, man. He on book tour, man. Like, yeah, I mean,
I ain't mad. I ain't mad at all.
The Black Tony Robbins, though. Courtney, how are you?
I'm great.
Courtney, the influencer, because I see you've been going live a lot lately, but you know.
Hey,
I ain't mad. Listen, I'm not mad at it.
Blue check legend. Let's go
That's
get
right.
Let's
That's
go
right.
get these dollars.
I am not mad at it. So we got folks checking in. Cool. What's up with you though, bro?
Man, you know, I'm living in Ready Player One. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just living in Ready Player One.
And by the way, I just want to say that you know, Traci said she's going to try to get on. You know, she was at an event. She's definitely going to try to get on. You know, we got folks checking in. Like I said, as you guys check in, make sure you do me a favor, hit the like button, share this out. This is the Black Wealth Project. Do not think you're on the wrong show. You know what I'm saying? So you're in the right place.
Kamari's not here yet.
Oh yeah. So hold up. Welcome to the Black Wealth Project.
You have to remind everybody, welcome Black geniuses.
Oh, I'm sorry. Welcome Black geniuses. You know what I mean? I gotta make sure y'all still feel at home, although he's not here. Welcome Black geniuses. You know. Anyway, shout out to my brother Camari though, man. Yeah, shout out to my brother Camari. Listen, we do have to do a Black business of the week, right? So this Black business that we want to highlight is a business called Minky Blue, right? Let me tell you guys about Minky Blue. So Minky Blue, the founder of Minky Blue was actually on the By the Hood podcast. And, you know, she's a sister that makes these bags, like travel bags and bags that for women to carry to work. And, you know, so we went ahead and ordered one. My wife got one, and it's amazing quality. First of all, let me share that set with you. Because it's not just that it's a Black-owned business, right? But sometimes you find a Black business that has an amazing product, and you have to share it. So here's the idea behind the bag, right? She said, you know, she talked about this on our show, how she saw women carrying all these various bags on a train. So she started creating like these luxury bags, but they're possibly combo where you can, like, you know, as you can see.
I love it. I love it.
Amazing. So she was selling these from her site. She recently got picked up by Macy's, so you can go to Macy's.com and get it as well. But that tells you right there, like, just what the quality is. The quality is amazing. That's the sister right there. So she's building a powerful business. It's something that we should be supporting. You know, we tend to spend a lot of money on other folks' bags and things of that nature. So
yeah.
And I love it. I love this. This is really, I mean, for women, that's a big deal because, I mean, I carry my flats. I toggle back and forth during the course of the day.
Listen.
Between flats and heels. If I'm in court, I'm wearing heels, but it's always a pain in the tush to kind of move your shoes around and things like that. And you kind of look like a hobo, to her point. So, and I mean, and look, I'm looking at the pricing. The pricing is more than reasonable, and they look amazing. The bag.
Listen, the really bags are amazing. And the
do you have a bag, Jimmy?
I'm gonna show you in a second. But here's the thing, though. Like, so if you want to carry lunch, she has it. So this comes with it as well. You can like put a lunch in here. But, you know, if you want to carry just your shoes, you can do that as well. So it's an amazing product. It's Minky Blue, right? So that name is MINKEEBLUE, Minky. MinkyBlue.com is the website. But also it's available at Macy's.com. So here's the bag here. I have a bag actually here. And what I'll say about this bag.
Is that your bag?
It's not my bag. No, this is Monica's bag. You know, I know the jokes will come. But I wanted to show this because, like, the quality is crazy. And her shipping is crazy. Like, I think she ordered it on June 8th, and by June 9th, she already had her bag. So her customer service is powerful. The product is powerful, and it's something that we definitely should highlight. You know what I mean? So Minky Blue is the website. You know what I mean? And make sure you guys go check that out. That is our Black Business of the Week, Minky Blue. You can find them also at Macy's.com, but that's Minky Blue. And please go support that because, you know, we support our folks.
Well, I'm getting one today.
Nice. Listen, so let's check in with everybody that's here. And for the folks that don't know, you know, I want to make you guys feel welcome. So welcome, Black Geniuses. This is the Black Wealth Project. As you can see, our brother Camari is not here, but I still want you to feel at home. So I'm going to greet you guys. I'm hosting this evening, so we shall have some fun. Tyrone, what's up, good brother? How are you?
Yizzo.
Monica's in the building. Hey.
Hey.
Let's see what else we got. We got Don. Hey, check in for North Carolina. For now, VA bound soon. Are you moving to VA? Oh, by the way, Courtney, I got to tell you, Don is an official hacker, yo. Don works for the CIA. Let me tell you why. You know, we joked before, even in our webinar, about how Don wins all the prizes. We did another one on Friday, and who comes up first?
Guess who won first?
Don.
We got the fourth or fifth time we've done we use random name generators, and Don still somehow wins them all. So we knew Don was ex-military, but we didn't know he went and worked, you know, for Blackwater afterwards. That's what we didn't know. Oh, Kamari's in the comments laughing.
Kamari.
What's going on, bro?
What's up, brother? Yeah, the Ella took 2.0 for all the BS I carry back and forth to work. Yeah, so Cookie said, hey, Cookie, how are you? Hey, Jose, what's up, brother?
Jose.
Talisha, how are you?
Hey, what's going on?
All right, I see what Kamari talking about. This thing is skipping like crazy. All right, so here we go. Drop the link of that company. Hey, glad you said that. Let's put it up here. I'm going to make sure I do that now. Look like Courtney about to get a bag. What's popping?
You know what? And I need to be careful about that. I should definitely like send him like but let me be very clear. Ty has a really good taste, but I don't want to be duplicative. So if I don't want to like get myself a bag and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh look.
Yeah, maybe y'all should have that conversation.
Yeah,
I just dropped the link. Make sure you have that conversation.
Yeah, you should.
I'm gonna hold off for a second. I'm gonna push back a little bit and put the time out
for a second.
Hold up. Peep this comment. Don says he was randomly listening to a podcast called Paychecks and Balances, and the blue check queen herself was a guest. Okay, how was that, Courtney? How was that podcast?
It was good. Rich and I had been kind of following each other for a while. They had a meetup. I want to say in like 2018 or 19 in Philly when one of the podcast conferences was here. Hold on for a second. So really just we hooked up, really cool guy. And then he said, yo, I have to get you on the podcast. I was like, oh, I have to. And we kind of just kept missing each other in the scheduling. And we finally were able to make it happen. And it dropped this week. And a lot of people have been reaching out to me. Like, interesting enough, I feel like I tell my story enough. But I've had a lot of people reach out to me like, I had no idea that you have a background. I was like, well, what do you think I've been talking about? Like,
yeah, all this time. Like, what was I talking about?
And I think it just speaks to a lot of people in the financial space online are very DIY. But I'm not DIY. Like, I do this. So I just always find it funny. And I've also had people like, I had no idea you were an attorney. And I was like, yeah. So it also reminds us that I feel as much as I feel like people know what I do and how I do it and all those things, they really don't. So I have to be a little bit more clear about how I do that, but also really good conversation. A lot of people have loved the commentary about my, how I invest. And I hope everybody catches it. I should drop the link to the podcast.
Hey,
it's episode 190. I'll drop it in the comments so everybody can see it.
But I think that's an excellent point, though, too, just in general about being in business and you have to always tell folks what you do, right? I mean, Malik probably relate to this where you have someone who will sell a house and you're like, well, yo. And they're like, oh, I forgot you did that. You know what I mean? Like, because this happens. You got to always stay in front of folks and tell them what it is you do.
I'm always in houses. People are like, "Oh, are you a realtor?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a realtor." Like I see you posting the house all the time, but I didn't know you was a realtor.
So you got to make sure you do that.
I think what it is because I don't post handing the keys over or passing over a bottle of liquor at the table. I don't post those pics that people think I'm not a realtor. I don't do business, but
You need a key. We're gonna get you a key, Malik. You need one of those big keys.
Gotta get the key. But you know what though? I pride myself on my client's privacy. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think to tell the world that my client just paid this house. It just.
So are you sending shots at the real estate agents that watch our show? We have a lot of agents that watch our show. So,
no, I'm not sending shots at I'm just saying my personal belief is privacy.
Okay.
That's why if I take a picture at the closing table, it's just the table. That's it.
Okay. So it's a method to your madness. So for those who are looking to buy property but still, maintain your privacy, Coach Carter is here for you.
if you don't want your realtor all up in your videos,
dances.
Good day from Timbuktu. Okay. Appreciate you for checking in. Adrian's here. What's up, Adrian? How are you?
Adrian, is that a real picture? Wait a minute.
Yeah, Adrian put a real picture up.
Is that her? Is that her?
That is her. Yes, it is her.
That is definitely her.
Or is she catfishing with that?
No, she's not catfishing.
No, she's not catfishing.
Yeah, we've seen Adrian on a video call before, so that's definitely Adrian.
That's really her. Okay.
That's really her. So, yeah, she ain't out here trying catfish. So, shout out to Adrian, though. We appreciate you as always.
Yeah, she looks exactly like that when you see it.
Angela's here. What's up, Angela? Crystal, what's up, Crystal?
Oh, Kamari's in his feelings. Oh, poor Tank Tank.
Oh, poor nobody besmirches your name. Listen, man, we putting respect on your name, good brother. Definitely putting respect on your name. So Talisa says, speaking to Crystal,
did you share the Minky Blue?
I definitely the link is definitely there for is on the Facebook page as well as the YouTube page. So it's there. So Tyrone can go handle that, you know what I mean? But make sure y'all have that conversation. Don said there were definitely some gems I never heard before. See, Don learned something new about you too.
Oh,
okay. That's what's up. Okay. That's what's up. All right.
Always excited to hear that.
Yeah. Kahan, what's up, good brother?
Good
seeing you yesterday, man. Kahan celebrated with us in our investment group. That was crazy. That was dope. So shout out to Kahan. Hey, what's up, Dwight? How you?
What's going on?
All right, listen. So let's get into the main topic, though. Oh, before we get into the main topic, right? Hold on. Adrian says I show my face on my undercover profile. She got 2 profiles. You know what I mean? Okay, got you. All right, but listen. Before we get into the main topic, which is Black to the Future, right? And when we say Black to the Future, we're talking about some of the things that we need to do as a people to be preparing for the future. Malik tends to talk a lot about some of the jobs that are coming to our local area and how we're just not prepared for them, right? Corey tends to talk about a lot of things that we need to do to prepare for the future as a people. I know a lot of times we watch these futuristic movies and there's no Black folks in it. So we refuse to let that happen. So we're going to talk about that. But the first thing I got to say is this, man. I just want to give flowers to Jeffrey Osborne. He's a legend. Kamari, I know you're watching, so you're not here to slander it, but Jeffrey Osborne has to get his flowers. That's our R&B flower giver for the week, because every week I'm giving somebody flowers. Last week was Bobby. You weren't here, Malik, so last week we gave Bobby Brown his flowers, and your man was trying to besmirch his name, Mr. Besmirch himself.
Yes, I saw.
Okay. So before that was Tevin Campbell. Now it's Jeffrey Osborne. But we got another question that came up in the middle of the week, and Kamari says something that was really, really disrespectful. So I need the folks watching, right? The folks watching, Kamari going to try to tell us that Janet Jackson has a better body of work than Michael Jackson in terms of her albums.
That's insane.
No, I don't think that was the exact quote, though.
I'm gonna tell you.
Let's go to
going with Janet. Right, I'm going to the game tape. Right, let me go to the chat and see what he actually told us, because it was about Janet versus Michael, right? Mm-hmm. And what it says is, and it was based on an article in The Root, by the way, by Panama Jackson of a Very Smart Brother. It says Janet Jackson's albums are better than Michael's. That's what the gist of it is.
Okay.
So
Janet Jackson's albums are better than Michael's. And Kamari said,
"That was just clickbait anyway. It wasn't real."
I mean, no, but Kamari had a nerve to agree with it though.
Kamari is a self-described natural. What's it say? Antagonist, whatever.
Contrarian.
Hater.
Contrarian, right? So I mean, you can't listen to Kamari. He's going to be on the contrary, just because.
Yeah, you spend a lot of words to say weirdo.
I think he's a contrarian, but I mean.
Well, before we do that, do any of you guys agree with Kamari?
No, of course not. No.
What are Courtney's thinking?
I'm thinking because here's the thing: when it comes to who's influenced me more, Janet, hands down.
That's different. Influence versus
But
albums.
To
Who has
me,
better
like,
albums?
I feel like, but in terms of how her influence has been through all the years for me, has always been her videos and her albums. Like that was kind of like how, like, yeah, I saw her as Penny on Good Times, and I saw her as Girlfriend on on Different Strokes.
Courtney,
Like,
I'm gonna push back just a little right here, right now. You listen. We like Janet. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with Janet, but you're really going to say that Janet was more influential in your life than Thriller?
yes.
Yeah, because Courtney's younger than us.
I mean, but even outside of younger, than that, I could understand, and this is not even like on no chauvinistic thing. Like Janet Jackson, she was like woman empowerment, control. I get all that.
Now she was the biggest pop star in the world, women's side for a minute.
Well, hold up, we talking about Michael though, like
right. But Michael. I mean, and I like Michael. I like Michael, but I'm a definite. And now that I'm like really thinking about it, like no, to me, Janet is better than Mike. To me, I mean, because I even had I tried to. I don't know if y'all remember with Rhythm Nation that she had the key on the earring. Now I tried to do that, but I didn't realize that she actually had money, so it was a real gold key. Because when you put a real key on there, you're like this. So,
but here's my point though. I get all that. I get influential is different because there's certain folks that are way more. Michael wasn't really influential on my life, but I think his music and his albums, like I don't think there's anyone. When we talk about bodies of work in terms of albums, Michael only gets compared to Michael. We argue about which Michael album is better than the other. Man. Janet albums don't compare. I can't think of any one Janet album I'm going to press play on. Or I'm not going to skip something. All of them have skippable.
Control is my favorite. Actually, Janet, I can listen to Janet all the way through.
Yeah,
I can also listen to.
I can.
Y'all, listen.
Rhythm Nation all the way through.
Rhythm Nation and Control.
No, that's not.
No, and then even the one that's just Janet. I love that too. Like the one that she has when she's laying on the front, like laying down. I think All For You. Like I listen to all of them, and I like. She's been a fashion icon for me. Like I.
Listen, but you're bringing up stuff. I'm talking about strictly the music, though.
But you can't separate all of it, Jimmy. It's the whole experience.
We're talking about the albums, though. We're talking about just
the albums. Yes, I'm talking about the videos that come from the album.
She actually got the $100 million deal before her brother.
All that has nothing to do with the albums, though.
Yes, it does. It's a direct upshot of the album.
She was the hottest female artist in the world. She got the $100 million deal before Mike Jack did.
But what does that have to do with whether her album is better? You're telling me how much money she got.
Because that means that she was
that has nothing to do with her. That means she can sell records. What does that have to do with the quality of the music?
Whoa! You trying to say that her music was basura?
Vanilla Ice got $1 million deal too.
Vanilla Ice was making more than every other rapper.
Exactly. So don't tell me about money. Money has nothing to do with it.
It's not about money. It's about like her actual albums are good.
They're good.
No one ever said that. No, she doesn't have a Thriller though. She doesn't have a Thriller. She doesn't have an Off the Wall.
Bro, Rhythm Nation was her Thriller.
Yeah, Rhythm Nation was her Thriller.
Are you kidding
Rhythm
me?
Nation was her Thriller.
Rhythm Nation had 20 songs on it and 10 were terrible.
Okay. I'm not arguing with you about it. That's a matter of opinion, but
no, hold on.
Yeah, you can't really argue opinion. But I will say this: Janet Jackson, anytime and any place, was on every last one of my mixtapes that I made throughout high school. Every time I called the girl,
I mean, I know what that's one of them answer machine songs. I get it.
Anytime any place was definitely is a classic.
All right, but we're gonna go through this song by song. Y'all gonna tell me that this album is Thriller. Yes. Are you kidding me? This is not Thriller.
Well, I got double the amount of songs, so it's not going to be Thriller.
That's my point. Thank you. That's my point.
But she had a lot of interludes. Like she had a lot of interludes. First of all, the whole thing was shot in black and white, and it was just a visual masterpiece.
Yeah, Rhythm Nation.
If that was a visual masterpiece, what was Thriller? Thriller was revolutionary.
Thriller was one. I mean, like he did the thing in the 80s with Thriller. But I mean, Billie Jean was hot. I mean, I'm not saying that
Billie Jean was on bad. We're talking about we're talking about
Billie
Jean was on.
No, you're right. You're right. No, but hold on. Back up. We talking about Michael.
So we're talking about Michael. We're talking about Janet.
Janet Jackson never had a video game. Where video game at?
Jimmy has terrible taste in music. All right, y'all haters, man. Y'all haters. You know the funny thing? The funny thing is we get caught in some of the stuff that we like, right? Like Janet, or like other than all right, a couple weeks ago when Corey was trying to tell us that Martha Ambrosia can go up against Mary J, right? What he was talking about at the time was his taste, not necessarily fact. Oh. Kamar, you sound horrible. He pulled up.
People.
He pulls up. Listen, you're trying to tell me that this album, we got it up. We can go song for song on this album right here, right? So interlude. First of all, you can't have 15 interludes. Like you just can't do that right there.
That was the hotness at the time.
No, it was.
That was the hotness at the time.
You taking it out of context.
That was the hotness.
Because the thing about great albums to me is they have to age well.
Wu-Tang album had like 7 interludes. But you trying to tell me that didn't age well?
No. That's what I'm telling you is this didn't age well. When's the last time you actually listened to Rhythm Nation? How about you gonna make up something?
Last week, actually.
How about you, Corey?
I personally haven't listened to Rhythm Nation.
I listened to it last week.
I want you to listen to it tonight, and then I want you to apologize to me. That's what I want you to do.
Adrian actually gets to the point. She honestly gets to the point in the comments, and I think that's exactly it. I mean, she said, it took you through womanhood. Like Rhythm Nation came out in 1988. And it came and she actually was talking a lot about, she had a lot of political messaging. Michael didn't really get into political messaging until Dangerous. She actually had a political message in the state of the world. And it was really, I just felt like that was really dope. And she kind of put her stank on all of that in terms of really making some political statements. And I think that was very interesting for a woman of her stature at the time.
All of that is cool, but all of that has nothing to do with how good the music is. All I'm saying is, when's the last time you listened to the knowledge? I'm not even telling you what the knowledge. No, nobody said
Janet got bangers.
No one says she doesn't have bangers. So you keep saying she's good, the albums are great. That's fine. We're talking about Janet versus Mike, though. When's the last time you went and listened to the song called The Knowledge?
Last week. I listened to the whole album last week, Jimmy.
The Knowledge. All right, Courtney. So The Knowledge.
I will listen.
Some of these songs, I know what they are, to be honest with you. Like, come on, man. Like,
I had to kind of refrain a little bit because I don't think I've ever listened to a Janet album more than once or twice. So
you can't because you can't. It's not as good. It's not good enough to. Now, if I'm taking the best of Janet, and making a playlist, I take her best songs off of each album. That's different. But I've tried to listen to a lot of Janet albums straight through. I can't. Like a lot of it's. I love Janet. I say this with all due respect. A lot of it's trash. Like the Black Cat. Like I don't want to hear the Black Cat.
Yeah, Black Cat.
If you do it in a versus format, you take Janet's top 20, you take Mike's top 20. It's rough.
It's closer that way.
It's very rough.
No, that's closer.
I agree. I mean, y'all making it, Jimmy. You making it seem like Mike just walks all over.
I think
he doesn't. He doesn't.
I think
Janet gets busy.
Listen,
Janet gets busy.
Who said she didn't? That's the question. Who said she didn't?
You did.
What?
I mean, you. By the way, happy Sunday, fellas. Thanks for slandering and besmirching my name. Corey called me a weirdo.
That I did do.
Jimmy's just stoking the fire.
Hold up.
It's all good though. I love y'all. I just want y'all to know that.
Right now.
Come on, that's not something that I have not said to you to your face.
Listen, you came in playing lying though. By the way, I never said her album. I didn't say. I said that she doesn't have a classic album, and I stand by that. If you take her best songs and put it on a playlist, you put it versus format. Now it's a tough out. Now she can compete with Mike. But album for album, Janet doesn't have a thriller. She doesn't have an off the wall. None of her albums can stand next to those by themselves. You take the best songs off of them, possibly in the best songs off of those albums. But
that's not what the comments are saying. The comments don't agree with you. The audience does not agree with you.
I don't care. I don't care.
So everybody's wrong except for you.
No,
all right, got it.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Listen, Jimmy, I like you hosting. Now I can be like the rest of y'all and be assholes for the night.
Right. All right. Yes, you can. But here's what I'm saying. I don't care if nobody has to agree with me. Listen, because the fact of the matter is, none of them have went back and listened to Janet.
Who said Off the Wall is overrated? AG, that's not right.
So AG was on your side, but now AG slandering Mike.
You gotta slow down there, sir.
All right. And by the way, Camari, I do want to put this on the record, Camari. There's only one person that I think can actually sit next to Mike when it comes to a music like that, and that's probably Stevie. outside of Stevie, I don't think anybody can. So it's nothing against Janet. I don't think anybody can. That includes Prince. That includes anybody else you name. Like Mike is in another stratosphere. Now
it depends on how you're looking at it.
You tripping?
It depends on how you're looking at it.
Okay, all right. I mean, who up there with Mike? Corey, you said I'm tripping. Who?
No, I think Prince is up there.
Named the two. You just named 2 of the 3 people that I would put in that.
I said Stevie. I said Stevie. Because I think
I would put Prince. I would put Prince in the same stratosphere as Mike.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine. Listen, I'm not gonna argue that one. But what I'm saying is, I'll argue Janet. Not Janet though. Anyway,
but you didn't even go through the merit. You didn't even go through the merit of the article.
Well, I didn't go through the merit of the article because there's no need to.
You trying to say it's meritless?
articles. I think I don't have to. When Malik actually called it out before we even got into the conversation, it's clickbait.
Yeah, it's clear.
All right, let me go back to these comments, man. Let me get back to y'all slandering me. All right, it says we see the investment club, and I'm standing by for the 99% bank-free class. These are pathways for a better future. Listen, that is part of our overall topic tonight when we talk about Black to the Future. So AG, I mean, I get it. It's Team Janet. Crystal's laughing. Camari, thank you for posting the link to the article. Crystal says, makes you think. No, it don't. AG says, as a whole, I like Janet albums better, but full bit of work, MJ. Rhythm Nation is dope. That's true. Still got a bunch of skippables. I love Janet more than Michael, not taking away from him as a legend and an icon. And that's no problem, too. If you say I like Janet better than Michael, that's fine, too.
Because they like the music better.
No, music and liking somebody is different.
All different like things. The music better.
All different things.
No skips on Control.
We're going to listen. Matter of fact, when the show goes off, we're going to sit here and listen to the album together. And I'm going to tell you everything that's trash. Anyway, the Red Velvet tour was litty. Had men passing out. Yes, I'm under 40 and saw her on tour before Corona. Ain't nothing wrong with that either.
Hey, let's go.
Me and Courtney on the same wave. Until you slandered Off the Wall. That's Courtney's favorite album.
Until you slandered Off the Wall, we were on the same page.
Yeah.
All right, Crystal, I respect Crystal because I'm super biased when it comes to her. All right, that's fine. I have no problem with that.
Oh, James Brown.
Michael would not beat Janet in the verses. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, I kind of agree too.
Janet wouldn't pick herself over Mike.
She wouldn't though, but that's part of that brother and sister. She reveals her brother.
Andrea,
it's very obvious they were the 2 most talented out of the.
I got paused, but I probably said something crazy because y'all bugging.
You have been. And Roby.
That whole thing bang. Yo,
I
keep checking that whole thing bang. None of y'all go back and listen to the Knowledge or Black Cat.
I do Black Cat Knives. Like I be getting it. It's like a real rock joint. I like that joint.
No, it's a real rock joint. Nobody
goes back to listen to The Girl Is Mine either. I mean,
you are bugging. First of all, The Girl Is Mine is a legendary song, which spawned Monica and Brandy's song. So that right there by itself. And Paul McCartney and Mike.
Then the Jackie on her own track.
Talk to him, Malik.
What did he say?
What did Malik say?
That Paula Abdul crushing and Jackson on her own track.
When?
What track was that?
What's that?
All right,
when they was dancing on her jaw?
Camari in the comments. He in the comments besmirching my name, man. That's Adrian's comment.
Yes, Adrian, I agree.
Stankonia has hella interludes.
So do the Wu-Tang albums. Every single one of them.
What's that got to do with anything?
Because you just said you can't listen. You can't have 15 interludes on an album.
No, she has an interlude.
Classic albums with a gang of interludes on them.
None of them have more interludes in this album. None of them have more interludes than Rhythm Nation.
They do. Let's not do that. Yes, they do. Look, pull them up, Jimmy.
Okay, let's go. Let's count them. We're gonna count them right here, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got 6, 7. All right, so we got 7, 8. What's the 8 right here? Another one down here, number 20. I'm sorry. So we got 8 interludes? So what album has 8 interludes that we're talking about that has been brought up thus far?
Okay, they said Wu-Tang. They said Stankonia.
All right, let's see. So we're going to talk about 36 Chambers. How many interludes are on here?
Wow.
We really have gone off the rails.
No, because I mean,
the rails.
The rails.
Jimmy is doing what? Jimmy, you're not going to get them. You're not going to get.
I don't want to get them. I don't want to get them to agree. I don't want them to get to agree. I just want you to know that it's not that many. It's not that many interludes on here. It's like 3. It's like 3. I'm looking to pull it up on the screen. It's like 3 interludes on here. We're talking about is 8 on the other one. What are we doing? First of all, Here's it's side A and side B of the actual album. Only a couple of these are interludes. It's like 3 interludes on this entire album. It's only 13 songs.
It's like Blue and Green.
So no, all right. So that's wrong. What's the other one? Because I can look them all. If y'all wrong about all of them, I'm just showing you that I'm factually correct. You know, I rest my case. Anyway, Camari came in like Shazam. All right, Team Janet. You could be Team Janet. That's okay. I'm not slandering Janet's music.
So Camari, you was in the A.
You are slandering Janet's music.
No. Some of it is trash though. Like, go ahead.
Camari, you was in the A?
Nah, I was in Florida.
Oh, okay. What to say? I thought you should hit me up.
No, I probably wouldn't able to run with y'all, man. Y'all got big money down there.
Yeah, hey, listen, I'm
right there.
Listen, they know how to spend money. That's for damn sure. They know how to spend bread.
I saw you was drinking bourbon at like 10 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, it's like 1. You had me on that.
All right, so y'all gonna say something about AG's comment right here? That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we already addressed that
already.
You bugging.
Block. Actually, you block.
All right, Cookie, that's your opinion. I love Janet, but I'm going with Mike. That's fine. I mean, listen, it's fine. You know, you're going with Mike too, though. I stand by that, and I'm an MJ fan. I mean, Mike was always be my lady in my life, and Janet was on some ball against my face, scared about my waist. That's all. I mean, all that's good. And Crystal, I'm gonna leave this one alone. I'm not even gonna comment on this question right here.
Robert committed crimes against humanity.
I'm a chill.
So he's the name that's not mentioned here.
I'm a chill on that.
You can't skip over that James Brown.
Huh?
That James Brown is valid.
James.
What?
No, listen.
Traci backstage.
Oh, Traci is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Traci's here?
Oh, we got
the Queen is
house.
in the building. The Queen got a full house. See what happens when I host? This is what happens when I host. All right, but hold up, though.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Traci, I'm putting you on the spot. We talk about just music, right? Just music. Michael versus Janet, just music.
Ooh.
See, she got to think about it.
Michael.
Okay, that's all. We can stop right there. Keep going. All right, so now AG said, she said Michael.
But she had to think about it. She had to take a breath.
All right, so Smokey Robinson.
Yeah, you gotta think about it. Yeah, you gotta think about it. It might say it was clear cut. What you saying?
Thank you, Malik. Right, so Smokey Robinson can writing credits included can battle with Mike and Stevie. Dwight, I'm not gonna disagree with that because his writing credits are crazy. His writing credits put him in a whole nother level.
He's been writing since the 50s.
So I'm not even gonna argue with that, bro.
Yes, he is.
Mike over Janet. Traci felt the bull shagging in her spirit that had to come in. All right, listen. So we've given Jeffrey Osborne his just due. That's our R&B Legend of the Week. I just added a whole new segment to our show, which is the R&B Legend of the Week. You know, last week was Bobby Brown. Before there was Tevin Campbell. So, you know, next week we're going to give another R&B legend their flowers.
Did we agree on the Tevin Campbell flowers? The thing?
That 5 or 6 song run he got is nice. Tev is nice.
Tevin
5 or 6 songs.
Tevin is a legend.
All right.
But Jeffrey Osborne has a pretty. I don't think we appreciate him enough.
His voice is crazy.
His voice is crazy, but he's been in the game for a long time.
Yeah, man.
Listen, the LTD. First of all, people are still playing Love Ballad and still crying. Still LTD. Listen, that is by far Love Ballad is one of my favorite songs. It's like up there with Zoom. And we got to talk about the Commodores at some point. Not today, but at some point.
I mean, maybe we can get final his far. We can get.
All I'm saying is Janet Jackson can't even get on verses.
What?
I said Janet Jackson can't even get on verses.
Why?
He's just saying that. He's clickbait.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Was it a second part to that, Malik? Was the second part?
No, I was just telling you. I was just saying, like, Janet, her catalog ain't there. Listen, on live, Swiss and Timberland went through her catalog.
Next.
I mean, no, he's not lying about that. They did do that. They did do what?
Go
through her catalog. You know, they felt the same way about
IG Live and said she couldn't go against Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
What?
That's what they said.
Man.
I mean, they looked at the song. They looked at Black Cat, and what's other name that track y'all lying about?
They on crack.
Sis,
that doesn't.
We can discuss the barge next week. All of them.
I'm good on DeBarge for a little bit.
That's to be on our show about substance abuse.
Good on DeBarge.
Wait a minute, Courtney, did you just say you're good on DeBarge?
I am.
Stop it.
Yeah, you got to go back and do your research, boo-boo.
Stop it.
I'm not saying I don't like DeBarge. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I don't want to have to sit there and have a. What?
I said it was so much shade in that boo-boo. Do your research.
I know. I was like, no. I mean, I'm very familiar. I just don't feel moved to have a whole conversation about them. Now, somebody did say, and I don't know who it was, said that we should have a conversation about them when we talk about substance abuse. Absolutely.
I said that, but I think I was joking, but it's actually serious though. When you watch their story about like their struggles and their battles, that's like a real topic. Mikhail says that Tevin cannot get the credit. Credit goes to Prince and Babyface. I mean,
we can't talk about Kevin without talking about
that was
Quincy.
For writing. I get it. He's talking about writing.
How we gonna talk about Kevin without talking about Quincy?
But if we start doing that, then there's a lot of y'all favorite artists. We got to start. If we gonna go down that route.
For Mike, you can say the same thing for Janet though.
Absolutely,
Janet doesn't have any credit for
Beyonce. You can say the same thing for almost all of these R&B people.
Does anybody talk about Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis? I mean, honestly, like we really do have to have that full conversation.
Yeah, about how many people they put on, because they put on a lot of folks.
Correct. I mean, they got Can You Stand the Rain done in one take, according to the movie. But anyway, Jose says, Tracy, keep sharing those beautiful condos.
Oh yes, you liked it. It was so pretty. It was such a beautiful condo.
Y'all choosing violence tonight. Yeah, Don.
Violence every night.
Listen, Don,
y'all just don't get to see it.
Hey, Don, listen, hold up. I think people Camari as a host, he gets real shady. He has another level of shade when he's like, not hosting. So
I know you listen,
concentrating on my shade.
Yeah, he definitely called a boo-boo.
It's actually work to host, right?
Oh yeah, clearly.
It's work to host, right? I can just sit back and just talk shit now. I'm with it.
You got real shit.
I got some smoke for Corey. Called me a weirdo.
This is something that I have said to you on many occasions.
Corey, wait a minute. For the record, Corey will call me a weirdo to my face. All right.
I'm not going to talk behind the back.
But you ain't had to say it to the whole world, dog.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah, I mean, you just shouted me out, but it's cool.
Hold up, I was showing love though. I was doing my Camari impression. I was showing love
in your shady way.
That was love.
It was very shady.
That was showing love.
That was a whole shade tree, though.
That was love.
I was cracking up.
I was showing love. Anyway, man, how would y'all think about this comment right here from Dwight? Dwight says we gotta give Ike Turner some flowers.
Man. Eat the cake, anime.
Eat the cake, anime. No,
see, that's the sad part. The sad part is like everything that he's done musically. That's what he's done before at this point.
Ike a legend is musically.
Ike is a legend. He's written hits since the 50s.
Yeah,
a lot of hits. Right. Other than that, though, I classify him with R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he don't. He's one of those not to be talked about very much. Dude.
Hey, Tracy, Don said them condos got him thinking about moving back to PA.
Come on, Don.
Don't do it.
Let's do it.
Stay in Carolina.
There's no Tina without Ike. Ike Turner. We got an Ike Turner fan club out here. Ike don't get enough credit.
I mean, it's musically.
He did this Joe Jackson though.
Right.
Yeah.
Gohan said I was a little disappointed that Camari didn't clap his hands following the boo-boo comment.
Listen, Camari, you clap his hands. I swear to goodness.
You're right.
You're
right.
All right, and Adrian says the only thing she give Ike is a right hook. I heard that. All right, listen, but let's get into the conversation of this evening. So our brother Malik, he brought this conversation up, and like I said, just to give some preface, he was talking about what's going on in our city and some of the jobs that are coming, and how he feels as though our community that we're just not prepared for what's happening in the future. So, and we can go around the table, and I'm gonna start with you, Courtney. What are some of the things, in your opinion, in 30 seconds? I learned this from Camari. 30 seconds or less. Can you tell us? What do you think are some things that come to mind for you when you talk about our people preparing for the future?
So I think the biggest thing is technology. I mean, we can see that with Bitcoin. We can see that with cryptocurrency. We can look at that DeFi. We can look at NFTs. We can look at all of that. And the biggest link of it is technology. And the big thing about technology is that you have to do that math and science. And one of the things in Philadelphia public schools is that they don't focus on math and science. And they really kind of tell us as people of color to say, it's okay if you don't get math. It's okay if you don't do science. It's okay. And I think that's a cop-out. And I think it really does our students a disservice. Even with the trades. I mean, you have technology, you also have trades. You can't do a lot of technology. Like you still need somebody to swing a hammer. Yeah, you still need to have actually somebody come to a property and actually do HVAC work and all those things, but we're not doing those either. So you're not preparing us for professions, and we're also not being prepared for trades. I think it's a lose-lose in all scenarios.
Yep. Cities have to be built.
Okay, well, Court, let's go right to you, Court. And what are some of the things that you think about when you think about the future and things that we should be studying or doing to prepare our people for the future?
We got to figure out how to feed ourselves and educate ourselves, right? So the thing about the future is people still gonna need to eat, and we don't control the making or the distribution of our own food, and that's part of the reason why we struggle so much in this country. And you know, we need to get back to controlling our own food. And so when we're talking about the future is the future and the past are linked by agriculture. We have to figure out how to feed ourselves. And and what Courtney was talking about with the technology, it levels the playing field on some ends, and then it makes the playing field so much harder on other ends. And then in the agricultural space, it actually makes it harder for us simply because these big corporations have so much money, it gets hard to grow in a big way. Okay. So that's my take on
agriculture. All right, so Coach Carter, let's go to you. This was your topic. What are some of the things that you think that our folks need to be studying or preparing, doing to prepare for the future?
All right, I'm gonna need more than a minute, man. I got a lot to say about that in general. Okay. I'll try to be brief, but just starting off, like you look at like the growing areas, growing cities, financially and size-wise, right? You got to think about. I come to Philly last, right? Austin is growing because of the tech community, right? When you look at Raleigh, North Carolina, they just got a Google campus coming. They got an Apple campus coming. They have over 3,000 people coming from Apple, and those jobs are averaging $160,000 a year. And 3,000 people, that seems like a lot, but when you got 3,000 just employees and their families coming, that's going to put a huge strain on the already tight housing market. And then Nike just announced that they're coming to Raleigh-Durham also. And Nike is really a technology company. We think about the shoes and what they did with Converse right now. And, now I bring all that back and come back to Philly. I think from what I've seen, and I don't know everything, I don't purport to be an expert on the economic development of what's coming to Philadelphia. The cursory readings that I've done, there's 30,000 biotech jobs coming to Philadelphia. And so much so that this is an insane stat when you think about it. Philly has all these universities, all these hospitals, and there's no lab space at all in the city of Philadelphia. And they're building 1.5 million square feet of lab space, and almost all of it is already accounted for. So that just tells you how large that science community is here. And I got to give a shout to Mosaic for developing down the Navy Yard. They got some stuff coming from other lab space, whatever else going to the Navy Yard. But it's a bunch of this. All these jobs coming, these biotech jobs. Like we have to prepare our kids, right, for these spaces. And when you think about all the jobs that are going, like that right there alone, humans are living longer. One last thing I'm gonna say, and we can move on. I'll probably start later on. There's a company based off out of 37th and Market. It's called Spark Therapeutics. They cured a certain form of blindness, right? And so when you start to cure things like blindness, with all the other cell therapy going on here, like people like getting use of their limbs back from being paralyzed, people just living longer, and then you combine that with CRISPR technology, and then Schrodinger. It's just so much that humans are living longer, and there's like these advances are being made, and all of these discoveries are coming out of Philadelphia, and we really have to get our children and in position to take advantage of these thousands and thousands of jobs that's coming here, because they won't be able to stay if they don't.
All right. So I'm gonna come to you next, Camari. Before I do, for the folks out there watching, please give us your thoughts. What are some of the things that we should be doing to prepare for the future as a community? So let's see. So Camari, let's go to you, good brother. And in your opinion, what are some of the things we should be looking at, studying, or doing to prepare for the future?
To me, what we need to do to prepare for the future is look to our past. We don't know ourselves. We don't know our history. And it's really, really sad. A lot of times in the audience here, we're kind of echoing each other because we all kind of have similar backgrounds, similar experience, similar education. But when you talk to folks that are in the community en masse, a lot of us don't know a lot of the basics. And so to me, I think it's imperative that we begin to take control of our history and begin to take control of our education. And that will, in my opinion, help us to understand why we need to learn and do more in terms of technology and other things to put it in proper context.
All right, that's a good answer. So when you say that though, what do you mean exactly when you say
take control?
Take control of our like history. Like what do you mean by that?
I mean, how many of us? I'm trying to be politically correct, but this ain't a political.
Don't say it. No, I'm trying to
how many black folks, right, have wholeheartedly brought into being this quote unquote American dream, right? And then we kind of lose our blackness, and we don't want to embrace our blackness, but it's our blackness that really makes us special. It's our blackness that really layers the sauce on everything, right? We dominate every industry we're in if given the opportunity. And once we're there, we make it better. So the same thing is happening in technology with a lot of people. Malik shouts out a lot of them. He does a really, really good job of keeping up with that space, much better than I do. But I'm just noticing from the Malik Carters to the brother from Philly.
We got Talisha Shine in the comments.
What's that? Yes, Talisha Shine in the comments. Absolutely. But for us to get it as a community, we got to have more cohesion. And the only way for us to get more cohesion is that better education and better culture.
All right. So appreciate that. So coming to you last, the Queen, Traci, what is your opinion? What are some of the things that we should be doing, studying, looking at, and doing to prepare our community for the future?
I mean, so much has been said and so many points have been made that are like really, really strategic points that are all very, very valid and important to discuss. I don't feel like there was much that was left out of that. I do feel like preparation, education, resources, and also understanding your history and your place within that is all very, very helpful. The final thing that I would really, really say is our people have to have enough understanding of their power to execute. They really, really need to just do it. Don't wait. Don't analysis paralyze yourself. Don't get talked out of it. Don't over-educate yourself on the topic, whether that's degreed up or YouTube University. Step out in these arenas and compete. Because I promise you, what you're doing on your worst day will be better than what is actually out here already doing it and foobarring it.
Traci, do you want to give us a definition of foobar?
I mean, if she don't, I will, because I love foobar.
I'll leave that to someone else.
I'll leave foobar. Effed up beyond all recognition.
Listen, Camari, so now I see how you feel when you host, when you let everybody else go first. And it's like, what am I supposed to say now? So I just want you to know I see, good brother. That's all I'm letting you know. I see how it goes. But so I'll just echo what everybody else said. Technology. I think one of the things Corey said was important is agriculture, because that's so true. But when the question is first asked, that's not even one of the first things that came to mind. But it's absolutely true about agriculture, how important that is. We have to kind of prepare ourselves to provide services to each other. We have to feed each other. We don't control any natural resources. So that's problematic in itself. And I will say, when we talk about technology, we have to, make sure that we're preparing ourselves not just to work in technology, but to protect our ideas, right? Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about DeFi. DeFi was invented by a black man. Shout out to Reggie Middleton. He invented DeFi.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, the government ran up all on him though.
Yeah,
Jimmy, I was definitely want to say that, right? Because when you go back and we look at all the black inventors who did not get their props, right? Who did not get access to getting patents, right? What was it? Woods was sued by. What was that?
Carter G. Woods.
Woodson? Carter G. Woodson?
No. I'm trying to think. It was somebody else.
Georgie Woods?
Basically, Edison sued this guy and stole his technology.
Lewis Latimer.
There was another one though. He did it several times. But that's sad, right? But that's part of my point, right? We got to understand what happened before because it will happen again.
Yeah, so we got to protect our ideas as well. What the brother say in Hidden Colors? That the white man had never invent nothing but the patent office. So let's get this.
I'm like, shout out to my people and my folks that are patent attorneys and my folks that are black legalese and black doctors and other people that are in high echelon spaces that are protecting our community from those things that are seen and unseen that are destructing and really, really putting a huge damper on our growth and
economically. Yeah.
Let's get to some of these comments. So Adrian says that we are not prepared. Last year, Google and Amazon was giving out free training to learn their technology. I hope we took advantage. There are a few black tech channels I follow. We're going to be left with the mental jobs if we don't get with it. Even certifications in project management, which I'm studying, Scrum, business analyst certification, and so many more. Google even just introduced their own project management certification.
Yes, they did.
So they have their own universities. Every one of these big companies has their own university.
Hey, Elizabeth. Thanks for checking in.
Hey, Jimmy, real quick.
Yes, sir.
The white hit it on the head. Granville T. Woods. That's who I was thinking about.
Okay.
Granville. Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. Dwight the historian, boy. He'd be right at it. It says, Adrian, absolutely correct. We need to ramp up the coding and tech training. The way these new TikTok and everything else, we got to ramp it up. Things like Black Girls Code has been game changing. Listen, I was talking to Courtney and Corey before we came on. There's a documentary on Hulu, right? And it's part of the New York Times documentary series, but it's a documentary about a brother who he bought a house or rented a house in Atlanta and put a bunch of little black creatives in there, young folks, black creatives, and created this like a social media house. He said, because that's what the white folks were doing out in California. It's amazing to watch. You talk about what made me think about this, how they know TikTok. These folks is making 6 and 7 figures just living in a house together, creating content for social media. It makes you look at your student loan debt and say, what was I doing wrong? But check it out on Hulu though. But they definitely know TikTok. They know these applications. We make every application hot. What application haven't we made hot? How about that?
Popped off every single one of them.
Man, listen.
Chatty House.
We ran Chatty House into a $1 billion bag and then left. All right, let's see. We use technology so much. There's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be in the industry. And a lot of these jobs don't require college degrees. So we got facts there.
So I just shared in our chat. If you I don't know if you shared, Jimmy, or not, but it's a brand new degree, like less than 2 years old, at Thomas Jefferson University. It's like 4 or 5 degrees about being sailor techs, and some of these are certificate programs. They just need people to work in labs, and so this is like less than 2 years old. These programs.
I'll pull it up in a second. Chaz be mediocre.
Yeah, they do.
So Kahan says, understanding the impact of AI on jobs. Yeah, we better get with it. Granville T. Woods, that's who it was. It says, one of the career groups I'm in says apply to all jobs with the supreme confidence of a mediocre clearman.
Facts.
That's amazing.
Facts.
That is a mantra amongst my friends. Like, with the same confidence, you should be able to do it because they clearly do not care about their credentials or what they can actually do. They just step up
at all. Never.
They look like a Goodwill Hunting, like when they really don't want the job. Like, why am I here? What do you want me for? Like, So Elizabeth says, I saw that doc and read an article about it. It's a lot though. Cameras everywhere is a bit much. That's what Monica was saying. She was like, I don't know how they keep this up. Like, everything is content. Like, and you watch them in his house, there's like 6 or 7 of them. And every time anybody's moving around the house, they're like talking to their phone. It's like, it's weird. That's how they live. It's definitely weird.
Sounds like a modern day real world.
I mean, listen, when I'm outside now and I see people it doesn't even look crazy anymore. And I'm like,
it used to look
weird.
weird.
It used to look crazy. Now it's like, oh, okay, maybe they don't lie.
Yep. What would Chad do? Elizabeth be smoking the hell out the chat. Yo, she be going at it.
Google, Amazon, IBM, Red Hat, they all have their own universities.
Yo.
Elizabeth is wild.
I can't.
It's an entire episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah. The whole
it really is.
Going right at it.
Black Mirror
really
the whole sermon.
So let me pull this up. So Malik, on here, you were talking about, let me see. So it says program options, right? Bachelor's and master's degree options. So, here, biotech.
Yeah, yep, all that.
Okay, so these are all accelerated health sciences, BS, medical laboratory sciences, but biotechnology, MS. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of these here.
And I think while we're on this page, if we just look at it, you can be a patent attorney without actually going to law school. You just have to have the certain requisite number of credits in science. So I think a lot of people there's always a path somewhere. And I don't think that we actually know all the paths to do what you want to do. Like, for example, Camari is the EA. He has the same rights as I do in front of the IRS. But again, I feel like a lot of times we don't know all the paths that are possible, and we end up incurring huge amounts of student loan debt because we don't have the right people giving us the right direction.
That's an amazing point. I actually talked to Camari earlier this morning. We were talking about like what it takes to be an EA, and I was like, "Oh wow!"
For those that don't know, what's an EA?
Camari.
An EA is an enrolled agent.
Oh, sorry.
Enrolled agent basically is the supreme tax authority in the land. A lot of people think it's a CPA. No, there's no shade. Like, I rock with EA. I rock with CPAs. But when you go to the IRS website, at the top of the list, there's enrolled agents. So enrolled agents specifically specialize in tax. All lawyers don't specialize in tax.
That's correct.
CPAs don't specialize in tax.
That's correct.
Listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. I was just looking at Courtney's face.
I saw Courtney. She was ready to push back.
Oh man, I was waiting for this. Your description was kind of wild though. The supreme authority, like
I was like supreme authority.
Listen, man, I don't get to sit in the whole seat tonight, so I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it.
You in your bag. He said
Courtney was throwing up rock symbols. This the rock.
He said this supreme authority. But no, I think that's an amazing point. Getting back to Courtney's point is because a lot of times I remember as a kid when you have like folks come in from different jobs, it was always like a cop, a firefighter, like what I mean. Like you don't get people that have like certain jobs that will tell you how to navigate and get that job. So we're all taught go to college, and we racking up all kinds of debt when that might not even be where our heart is. You can get a job as a tech, like or maybe an EA.
How far down is Talisha's comment?
But while you're looking for that comment, just real quick, right? My dad mentioned being EA maybe once, right? But we never really talked about it.
EA,
all I thought about was CPA. I didn't want to do CPA because I didn't want to do audit, right? Not to be super technical, but it took another black man who is an enrolled agent to say to me, Camari, with your experience, with your background, you will be a great enrolled agent. And that's when I really started looking at it like that. So again, to Courtney's point, it was somebody else, even though I knew about it, but to really have the conversation with me and make me look at it hard.
We might need to do a list, right, of jobs that people just don't know about. And like one of the things, just real quick, I wanted to do a camp one year where it was a sports camp, but the kids are actually like the referees, the score takers, the statistician, like all these other jobs. I went to the Hawks Sixers game the other day, and these guys are up there getting paid who knows what just to make Instagram posts during the game.
Yep.
But Malik, going to your point about refs, there's a lot of refs that make 6 figures.
It's a lot of
at the college level and at the NBA level.
Man,
And they travel with the teams.
Listen, a close friend of mine is he's the head tech guy for the Sixers. He makes a nice living, but he's the head of technology. He sits he's every game he's sitting courtside or whatever, but he's working on the tech side. So Malik, that's a great point. There are a lot of jobs like we just don't know about it though. A lot of times we don't know about it. You know, like Camari said, it took for someone else, like for him to want to be EA. I mean, for me, it was just the first Major Figures album, but that's either here nor there.
Yeah, that's us.
All right, let's see. So Jose says, I'm going to go learn plumbing once I complete my degree because service professionals never lack in earned income.
Plumbing, electrical, HVAC.
The trade.
All are in demand.
Ooh, don't get me started on student loan debt. The new indentured servant.
Man.
Ooh. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, because it doesn't allow you to move. Like, there's a lot of people who can't get no credit because they got student loan debt smashing them in the head.
Correct.
No matter what, it's like it is not even that they're not paying it. But it makes their debt to income ratio so terrible that they can't get stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, and I know those people because my wife's one of those people, and she won't mind me sharing this because she talks about this. But my wife has 4 postgraduate degrees. She has 4 degrees, but she doesn't. She's on an income repayment plan, and because she has so much debt, she can't even get, even though she's not paying a lot as far as student loan debt, her debt to income ratio is always jacked.
Right.
Because of the amount of student loan debt she has. And so like fixing her credit is almost impossible because of the student loan debt she has. It's not even because she doesn't have good credit and good credit habits. It's just the sheer amount of student loan debt.
Debt to income. So no, that's an amazing point. I just never thought about it like in terms of the way she said indentured servant, like systematically, like what's going on systematically. That's what I never put, so
the sheer amount of student loan debt prevents my wife from having good credit.
So Adrian says that her cousin's husband went from an accountant to police officer, and he just started a job last week as a project specialist for a pharmaceutical company. His wife works for Merck, and she says there are so many jobs open. Another thing that many of us need to do is learn about transferable skills, effective resumes in order to move over to these companies.
Facts.
You may not be a tech, but you may be able to work in customer service, tech, or a pharmaceutical company and move around. Okay.
Listen, my wife, shout out to my wife, got a promotion, the other day, got a new job, appreciate her. But there's a lot of in her field, her field of pharmaceuticals, what's always needed are the government relations. Every pharmaceutical company out there right now, even today, pull them up, they're all hiring for government relations. Every last one. And they all need quality assurance. She does quality assurance. Matter of fact, soon some of y'all might need that COVID treatment. That's the drug she's working on right now, Glaxo's COVID treatment.
So Elizabeth said that's the number one reason they won't forgive student loans. That's an excellent point. I got a different way to look at things now. So something else that I want to share real fast. The Queen Traci has given us this list here, right?
Yeah. The one thing the government can't do is give people time. That's the thing that COVID gave people that the government didn't want to. The government doesn't care about people having money. The government cares about people having time, because people that have time to think and to rationalize what's going on, they start to revolt. This is terrible. This is one of the reasons they're trying to keep CRT out of teaching in college.
What's CRT, Corey?
Critical race theory.
Oh, okay.
You mean the truth about
the truth about what happened during slavery?
Wow. Yeah,
during enslavement.
Let's. I mean, because I think that's what frustrates me the most is that if you put a label on it, which is critical race theory, and now I was like, oh, we don't want to talk about critical race theory. No, you don't want to be truthful about what actually happened in the United States where it pertains to race and how you made everyone subordinate because of race, because it was convenient, and then you did a whole bunch of things around it. Like, you never want to talk about it. And I mean, but that tells me, again, going back to education, is that how messed up our educational system is. I don't even understand why we send our kids to school, honestly.
Oh, you better start a whole other conversation. Before that, let's back up.
That's one of the reasons I haven't sent my kids.
Hold on, let's back up real quick, because Traci wanted to look at this list right here. I think it's important to look at, though. So these are the top 100 paying jobs in our country right here. So cardiologist is number one. The national average salary is about $351K. Anesthesiologists, orthodontists, psychiatrists, surgeons, all the physicians are up here, dentists. So let's see. Most of these are dentists, but then look at this. Once we get past all the doctors, right?
Yep.
Enterprise architecture manager.
Yep.
Quantitative analysis.
Yep.
Hey, that's the quant. We out here. The quants out here. That's me. So we out here. But anyway, so
information
vice
security.
president. Let's look how general this is. Vice president.
Yep.
Director of information security. Another.
Yep.
Yo, so that's a tech job.
Tech.
Mm-hmm.
All tech. Software
All
architect.
tech.
Enterprise
software.
architect. Yep. All tech.
Pharmacy. Data warehouse architect. Site. Yeah. So.
The other thing that is also coming up that people have to be aware of too is people who can manipulate data are literally becoming super sought out and super sought after positions because so much data has come out of the COVID regime of different things regarding race, size, color, pre-existing conditions. All that stuff, the healthcare industry is literally chomping at the bit to get access to those repositories with all of that data.
One of the things I find interesting about that list, it's a lot of pharmacy stuff on there.
Mm-hmm. Well, but I think honestly, that list tells us a lot about our society.
Man, that list doesn't tell us anything because a lot of the jobs that's going to pay the most aren't even there yet.
Well, that's true. But I think one of the things that if we go back to the list, you see a cardiologist. We're not active. We tend to have heart problems because we're not exercising our limbs and thus our hearts.
America's a fat country.
Yeah.
Also, you had a psychiatrist, which was like number 3. We have a lot of mental health issues. I think, and there was a couple other things that just like, wow, this is really problematic. But looking to see those things actually tell us where our society is, and it just doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy. And then you have pharmaceuticals and pharmacists that we're always hyped up on some sort of drug.
Yeah.
I mean, so it just really makes me uneasy seeing that list and understanding. And I think Traci said half of that list actually really isn't reflecting the people that are making money out in these streets. That's not even calculated.
I think that list is really about keeping people alive, right? I think humans are scared to die, so we'll spend anything not to die. And that's part of what that list really tells me. But I wonder what they got I guess for salaries, because I know a lot of people that's just making way more than, honestly, if I knew what I could make like in this business that I'm in now and saw that list, I never went to college.
Yeah, for 1 second.
Yeah, but the thing about it is this is an aggregate too, right? So a lot of folks because of the circles that you're in and in the industry that you're in. But those folks that are making that money in that industry, they aren't the norm. You know what I mean? Every one of those folks got a bunch of family members that's trying to get a job on this list.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? So it's all about the numbers. So Elizabeth says that she's done because she gonna mess around and start a whole revolution in the chat. Hey, I'm with it. Y'all saw Mark Lamont Hill crush that conservative kid on his show. Yeah, they were talking about critical race theory.
Yes.
Yeah, they were talking about critical race theory, and dude like basically came on there just giving his opinion, but didn't read anything
at all.
I'm a unicorn. Military paid for my secondary education. I really understand the denied benefits our ancestors didn't get from this program. Student debt is a whole ecosystem for this country. Ooh.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's really the way to separate the haves from the have-nots, because in our parents' generation, the separation was the college degree or not having a college degree. But now it's okay. Having a degree isn't a big deal. So we have the difference between those who have debt and those who don't have debt, and the massive amount of debt. Because again, we were always told that, just go get more education, but we never actually had the opportunity to translate that into experience.
Man, listen. All 6 of us up here got a degree. I wonder what our combined student loan. I don't even want to get into that. Anyway, stop. All right, we're gonna stop right there. But anyway, listen. I don't understand. I see Traci. We know, Traci. We know. But some of us got enough to make up
zero.
For not having it.
One of us got a debt service of 0.
We got enough for 2 people. Some of us got enough for 2 people, so we got enough.
I got enough for you too if you want to hold some in mind.
No,
so it says, I don't understand why we send our kids to school to be taught by people that are raised to fear or discount them. We expect the ops to train our kids, and that's goofy.
I think
that's exactly my point.
By that comment, we know exactly where Monica's not from. She's not from 63rd. That's where she's not from.
Definitely not from 63rd.
We are not from 63rd.
We can start with correcting Columbus discovered America. To Columbus gentrified, raped, pillaged, and committed genocide against an entire group of people.
How about Columbus never made it to America? How about that?
Yeah. Well, that's not true. He did make it to America.
No, he didn't.
No. He didn't make it to what we call America here.
Right.
He made it to America. So you're talking about the United States.
See, this is something because I teach social studies. I have to teach people this. America is bigger than the United States.
That's fact.
America stretch all the way down. The United States, they stretch all the way down and they go above us. So when we say America, we're so fixated on the United States.
What area? What did he ever land in the continent of what we know now as North South America?
The continental United States, and I would say no.
He never landed there.
But I don't. But here's my problem: why, if he never landed on the continental United States, and the continental United States has been the continental United States for I don't know how long. I don't know.
Why are they perpetrating this lie?
Correct. Like, I mean, it just doesn't really make sense. It's like we're so excited. We have Christopher Columbus Boulevard, but he ain't land here. Like, it just doesn't even make any sense.
Because there's a large Italian population in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it is.
Well.
But my thing is, no, you're absolutely right about that. Specifically down there's a huge Italian population, but they got more than just him. They could have, given it to somebody else.
Why did we name the cartographer America Vespucci? We never talk about him ever. I was trying to figure out for years, like, why we named it America. And they were like, well, because he signed his name on the map. And I was like, really?
They could have they could have made it Emilio Pucci Boulevard or something like that.
I mean, anything. It's just odd. I mean, it's just the way that we interpret history just isn't factually correct, and I see it on a regular basis, and it's frustrating.
I just saw a petition 2 years ago trying to rename Malcolm X Park Christopher Columbus Park.
Hey, we're not going to talk about Malcolm X Park today. There's a lot going on in Malcolm X Park today. I don't know if y'all saw what's going on the internet, but Malcolm X, they wilding out Malcolm X Park today. Real quick though, Elizabeth's right here. Yeah, they doing too much out of Malcolm X Park today, but you got to sacrifice your life to become a doctor and deal with layers and levels of racial bias. Getting paid trash as a resident. She has friends battling depression because of that. And that's the thing about the bias in all the systems, right?
Yeah, man.
Same thing in law. I mean, I've actually had from my law school, I want to say that I know at least 3 people who have committed suicide since practicing.
Holy smokes.
And so again, you go through 3 years of hazing in law school, and just imagine, I mean, I wasn't in this particular constitutional law class, but imagine being a first-year student and someone as a professor in the law school that you go to says, oh, African-Americans, they're just an unfortunate race. The fuck?
Listen, law school is one of the most biased places I've ever been to. And I still have PTSD from the Socratic method, but
almost definitely.
We're not going to talk about that though.
But I mean, it really changes you as a person. People are like, I don't like playing with attorneys, and I know. I like playing with attorneys more because they're more my people, they're more my speed. But I can see how being in law school adversely affects us.
Absolutely, because you're trying to get back at all the punishment you suffered.
And listen, I feel like you suffered. I feel like
not you personally, Courtney, I'm saying as
right in general, pushing back. Yeah. But I feel like most of these upper echelon career paths and industries where you're kind of getting let into the room to kind of see some of the oppression and the conversations and some of the laws and different structures and ecosystems that are being made in the form of oppression are definitely going to be super spaces where we're going to get the most level of hazing in conversations. I've had friends of mine who are in the military who are literally level officers who are in high ranking positions that literally come back after they have meetings or different things. And they're just like, if I could tell y'all some of the stuff that we talk about, and some of the rules and things that are being displayed, and some of the people that are hung as portraits on the walls in here that are being praised, y'all would leave this country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it,
you know what?
I was in the military for 4 years, and they're not lying.
I can only imagine. At the highest levels, I can only imagine. And I don't want to.
I went to the JAG office a few times because I get in trouble anywhere I go, and and so understandably, you know what I mean. So you were in the office, like, because I never knew the building existed until I got in trouble, and then you're in there, and it's like, damn, this is really what they really do. Like, and then you see all these people that bombed on these countries, and you see all these people that they praise, and I'm like, man, that dude enslaved my whole, side of the family. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just be like, look, man, it was crazy.
In that conversation, when I'm talking to those people who are in those upper echelon spaces in the military, their discussion to me is those things that you guys are feeling like are taboo or different stuff. They're literally being studied and retaught in the masses of people to be able to say, no, this is the standard and we're going to follow that. So that's where it becomes dangerous, because it's like, yeah, you guys raped, killed, pillaged in the name of, but that's a protocol. Yep. And it's still something that should still be utilized.
They're going to expect you to be your suit instead of your skin, right? So correct. when you're in that environment, they're expecting you to follow protocol regardless of race, color, creed, blah 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 blah. They will ask you to do. They like, look, like, go kill these brown people, even though these brown people ain't did nothing to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's because for the protection of America.
Right. So real quick, before we got the military piece, I would like to give a quick rest in peace to Private Lavina Johnson. She's always in my mind. It's been years now. If you don't know her, go look her up. But what I don't like about this conversation, I think we kind of got stuck on, are the jobs, right? When it's a lot more about the future that we got to prepare for, like with you guys spaces, like with DeFi, like we got to prepare for autonomous vehicles, right? We got to. I saw that several years ago. There was they created a bot. They created a bot to replace kidneys. It's not in function yet, but that's going to save lives. Definitely not a lot of black lives, man. With these,
with these kidney ailments that we get
with these
that we're predisposed to,
dialysis and everything.
Well, it's not just our diets, though, and I think that's something that I'm going to push back on.
The stress, too.
It's the stress, but it's in our genes. It's not just, it's honestly in our, I guess I'm not a medical person, but it's in our genes. I mean, so it's not just, we all just have this ailment because we just eat, hog logs and chitterlings and fried chicken. Like, no. It's
as someone that recognizes that the vast majority of my problems in my life start with a spoon, that doesn't help, right? Eating that. It doesn't help. Eating a quarter pound of chicken gizzards after school, right, with French fries and drinking soda, like that doesn't help, But we recognize it. But even still, like, there's so much. And even we talk about the drones and the surveillance. Right now, they have they have bee drones, and the bees are dying out, and they have drones that are going to replace the bees when it comes to pollination. And when I took a picture, I should have showed this picture. I took a picture when I came back from Cartagena, right, in the Miami airport. Through global entry, it took us 3 minutes to get through because they use facial recognition now. Mm-hmm. They're like, yeah, that's you. Keep going, right? And so it's like the future of travel. Everything is like, we have to prepare for a society where we're constantly under surveil, where we really don't know where and how to get food from. And if anybody remembers the blackout in New York, for 5 days there was no electricity from like New York through Cleveland up through Canada. It was pandemonium, right? When nobody knew where food was even going to come from. 4 or 5 days of no food in the grocery store can bring down our entire society. Well,
that's why.
That's why they didn't close down during COVID.
Well, so things such as like protecting our families, right? That's something we got to think about too, right? In terms of being able to, arm ourselves, right? It's a lot of things we got to think of when we talk about the future. But let me get to the rest of these comments, so we can come back to that. So Adrian says data is huge, of course. Directly connected to technology, you can break down different areas of data because they are specialties in health data. So Jose says that'll be $200K probably per person. Jose says the military is one of the most racist organizations to ever exist.
No doubt.
Thanks.
It's sad to think about it, but anybody I know that served in the military will tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Black said, I'm looking at it maybe 3 years from now. Adrian said she's getting out of here altogether. Where are you going, Adrian? Let's know what you thinking about.
Yeah, where are you going?
Where we going? That's because we treat it like trash everywhere. So trying to figure it out. Tech is a rough gig for Black folks. Have been the only folk in the room at several different projects. Dwight, that's the problem with like studying like blockchain and going to like certain places and conferences when it comes to blockchain. Like we can count on one hand. One of the things I asked Camari today, he was talking about his Erie Ave conference. I was like, how many Black folks were there? And the fact that he gave me a number, I was like, well, that's a problem right there. The fact that you can give me a number means you can count on one hand. Like, it's a problem. So we got to get in these room, folks. Up until about 4 years ago, we had Jim Crow Chow Hall here in NC.
But this is not surprising. I mean, we're not surprised. We're frustrated, but we're not surprised.
Yo, that's absolute madness. I probably would never ate if that was the child. I would have died.
Yo, Jose says there's a brother out in Africa who designed and built an electric car that performs better than Tesla. He forgets his name. And to your point, Courtney, epigenetics.
Yep.
That's what it's called, right?
Thank you.
So Jose also says, I'm a huge proponent of becoming firearm qualified within our communities. Though as a felon, the most I can do is learn, can't own legally.
You're in New York. New York is terrible for a gun law. Like New Jersey, the worst.
You cool with a gun in New York, you get the death penalty. But listen though, let's joke about it.
But I mean, I think that's a good point about we talk about felony disenfranchisement and when it comes to voting, but it's actually across society.
Yeah, across all things.
Yeah. You mean by the time you give us 6 figures in student loan debt, hit us with a felony, we can't do nothing anyway.
But if you get a felony, you can right. Yeah, I know. Before and like if you get
I'm gonna hit you either way. Then I'm gonna hit you either way. I'm gonna hit either. Look, you want to be a good
disenfranchisement.
I'm gonna hit you with 6 figures of debt. If not, I'm gonna hit you with a felony. You choose which one you want. You want the felony or the debt. Either way, I got you. All right. Here's a question I got for the folks, right? So what can we do about this? What are some solutions, right? So we talked about all these things. Next couple minutes before we get out of here, what are some of the things that we can do as the Black Wealth Project, as our audience? What are some of the things we can do to help prepare our folks? What are some of the things we should be doing? And I'll let anyone go first. I just want to figure out what are some solutions that to these issues we know.
I don't mind going first. I think what you guys are doing, with the talking about the DeFi and NFT space and like keeping that going, I think that's a big deal. Like really understanding how cities work. I think like I'm going to keep educating people on buying houses for proximity to other stuff versus shiny things. Honestly, as a realtor, I lose that argument all the time with my clients. They always go with the worst possible property, in my opinion, but I educate them what I feel like might be the best thing for, financially. But of course, they go, I'm just a servant. And then also we have all these talks, a lot of people talking about, our health issues. And I'm going to continue to push the envelope on all my rants about where Philly is going with the jobs that are coming. I've been doing that. We'll continue to go on that, even though I feel like it's falling on deaf ears. Like the only people that listen to me are developers, it seems like, and I'm going to keep pushing the envelope, let people know.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts on some of the things that we can do?
I think it's a twofold proposition. I think on one side, you have to get in front of the kids, and then you also have to do things for yourself or for somebody in your peer group. So when I'm looking at the kids, I talk a lot about education. So shout out to By the Hood and the By the Hood Camp, because my two sons are going to go to your camp. So it's about educating them. And fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. They're going to. We have a whole summer regimen this summer, and they're going to read "They Came Before Columbus" by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima.
Ooh.
And that book talks about, you know, how Africans were in the Americas before Columbus, because that's not, more specifically about the Columbus conversation, that's not what we were taught. And
how old are your kids, Corey? How old are your kids?
15 and 14.
All right, so you got a 14 and 15, so they're gonna come to the Bodyhood camp and read that book. I mean, next school year, boy. Y'all gonna be
y'all gonna get a lot of phone calls home. Like, yo,
that book is heavy. That's all I'm gonna say.
It is heavy, but I think it's so necessary. And I think the earlier that you get things set up, so they get to question things, because I think once all you need, and I think we've talked about this before, all you need is one thing to go, well, that's a lie. Well, how many other lies have you been telling us?
Yep.
That's all you need, is like one thing to kind of break the whole thing apart. So
listen, I had one teacher in high school. I had a high school teacher, my social studies teacher, and he told me this, and it changed my whole perspective about everything I've ever learned. And he said, the winners of the wars get to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
And every single time. So he said, everything you learn about history, you have to figure out who won the war to figure out what perspective is being taught from. And it changed everything I've ever thought about everything, is because the way the people in society learn comes from the dominant culture, and the dominant culture comes from war. And so I didn't realize that the dominant culture came from war. You know, I heard about the American Revolution, but I never thought about the American Revolution as a war where they took over something, you know what I mean? Like, because it wasn't taught that way to me. And then when he said that to me, I was like, oh, snap. Like, everything here is Americanized because we really took over somebody's spot and changed it and Americanized it. Like, and it changed my thought processes about everything that I've ever read and everything I've read since. And so it is, you know, when you get taught something that changes and it makes everything else you ever learned, it puts it into question. That's something that we need to do with our youth.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely true. I mean, the fact of the matter is, it's all about telling a narrative, right? You know, I learned that in Hamilton, man. If who dies, who tells your story? But no, Hamilton.
On the other side, being
at the end of the day, all roads lead to real education. Period.
But also being prepared for disasters. I think a lot of as our peers, like really having the things in the house to be prepared to withstand some sort of calamity for some time period. And I'm not saying like, you know, a complete, you know, doomsday prep person, but you should have certain things in your home. You should have bottled water, that you should have tabs, you should have a whole bunch of stuff in there to really to if something happens, because I mean nobody predicted COVID was going to happen.
Yeah, and I hope Monica logged off, because if she hears you say that, we about to have a crazy Instacart order coming tomorrow. Like she watches those doomsday prepper shows, and next thing I know, we got all sorts of deliveries coming to the crib. I'm like, what are you doing? But
listen, I can't say we got stuff though.
They came before Columbus.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a heavy book though. So we see what your kids kind of summer they about to have. Anybody else have any thoughts about that? Before I get to these comments about what are some of the things that we, you know, us as the Black Wealth Project or even our audience can do, to prepare ourselves for the future.
It would be really cool, maybe, and I don't want to put this on the Black Wealth Project camp, but maybe we grab some teachers, some real conscious-minded teachers, and maybe we fund a Saturday school, or maybe we create a Saturday school. So to teach real education, to teach preparedness, to teach agriculture. I mean, again, I got to give big props to Malik, because he was talking about ag 10, 15 years ago. When
he was.
So, you know, all of those things are very, very important. And we can't keep looking towards the others to give us equality and to be fair. Fairness doesn't exist. We got to do it on our own.
Ooh. That's right. What do I tell our campers, Jim, about fair? Fair is a weather description.
Yep. Shout out to Malik out here kicking all the jewels, man. In between his you know, his slander of school counselors, man. He be out here like trying to lead us the right way. What were you getting ready to say, Traci?
No, I was just going to say that one of the things that I think is important, not only for our Black boys and girls, is to really, really teach them strategically how to speak up. Teaching them how to have their voice, teaching them when to speak up, teaching them how to strategically be able to make sure that their ideas, their opinions, and they take up room and hold space, because we're not really taught that. And it becomes very detrimental by the time you get to a space where you can do and affect change, and no one's never ever taught you or given you the room to, voice what you need. And I think that is a big portion when it comes to not only just public speaking and, being able to be even from a debate conversation. Like debate team stuff is super critical thinking, super preparation, and making sure that you can articulate your argument in a microphone in front of people. Like there's so many skills that go into that, and we don't do enough in exposing that trait in our Black and brown boys.
That's a great
hey, shout to Mighty Writers, man. Mighty Writers is a wonderful organization teaching kids to write. Most of us only experience public speakers at the church. The pastors, pastors are the ones, man. But and really the people that make thinking about it, the people that make the most money in this country are people that speak good.
Yep.
No, you're right about it. You're right about
the craziest part of that is twofold. One, we had the Black History Oratorical Contest when I was a kid, and we had all of these other where you had the write a report, and then you had to say it was you had to write it, and then you had to condense
before. But let me ask you a question: does it still exist?
I'm not sure.
I don't know,
because my kids aren't in public school, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, only public schools I saw coming up was at Powerhouse. But
and then the other thing is, my mom always told me about when I talk to adults what to say, and she would always say, if you have a problem with an adult and it got too out of hand, to stop talking to them and to call me, because at that point you're losing ground, and I don't want something to happen to you with an adult that I what I mean. But the thing she always said is you always show respect. You start with respect, and then you go where they go, though. So my mom gave me the leash. You start with respect, and then you go wherever they go. So if they come back with respect, then that's where it goes. But if they take it to another place, you say respectfully, you need to say that comment to my mother. Because if they say something to you that you feel is disrespectful, I stop them right there. I say, all right, I need you to stop. I need you to say exactly what you just said to me. I need you to say that to my mom.
Yeah,
I did that recently. I sent somebody to my father. I did that recently.
Yeah, whatever. Because when adults would get disrespectful with me, I'd be like, oh, okay. Stop right there.
Oh god.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Tell them what you just said to me.
We're gonna get out of here so we go through these comments. I just want to say that Courtney said something earlier that made me think. Right, we talked about the kids and them questioning things. I know a lot of times in our community we kill that. We kill that curiosity because we don't want them to embarrass us or be a troublemaker where they're really just inquisitive. We can't be killing that. We can't kill that.
I went up to my son the last time my son was in public school in second grade. I went up to that school 50 times because he questioned the teacher. Mm-hmm. I was and I came every single time. The teacher was he was questioning what I was doing in class. That's exactly what he's supposed to do. Why do you keep bringing me up here? I'm not going to give you a different answer. He's going to question everything you say. Why? Everything is going to be why. So
that was unheard of. I would have just failed your kid. Then we discussed it. That was on her. You know what I'm saying? That's how you handle that. She just wanted to see. She just wanted to see you or something. That's all that was.
She wanted to see you.
So Adrian says she's researching now. She'd love to live on an island like Jamaica, but even in places where we are the majority have issues, being an American is one. Ooh. So Daniel says he wants to learn about real estate. Daniel, you're in the right space, man. You got Carter, you got Traci there, whatever you want to learn, man. Shoot us a message, man. You got the legends right here. Develop mentoring programs or apprenticeship programs where we teach trade skills and professional skills to our youth. So a lot of people are talking about us educating our own folks.
Shout to TFAD up in Germantown.
Absolutely, TFAD. I recommend them wholeheartedly. And if you're looking for that,
and for the folks that don't know, what does that stand for?
Trades for a difference.
Okay, there we go.
They're in Germantown. They're on Facebook.
What's the name of favorite school for the high school?
That's for STEM. It's the Hope Something Academy.
The Hope Academy. She has a STEM program based for youth, a youth STEM program.
Yeah. So watch out for PTSD diagnosis. If you get one, you cannot legally own a firearm. That's going to be used against the Black community as we dive into mental health.
Ghost guns.
Oh, excellent point. That is
an excellent point.
Create our own classes for our children and work together to teach our specialty to all of them. That's definitely an answer. Yeah. Be like Marcus Klein.
Marcus Klein, the legend Marcus Klein.
Amazing.
Yeah, love that brother and his program. You got to reach the young parents and kids early.
Fact.
Sure.
Yeah. So Jose says,
what's up, Pat?
Because they will be in.
Talking about the kids in the book.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So
that's gonna be problematic.
Jesus, what's the name of that book again? Is
you found
They Came Before Columbus.
They Came Before Columbus.
Yep.
Yeah. So someone could put that in the chat what you need. They Came Before Columbus.
Don did.
Somebody did. Okay. All right. Be able to filter unclean water, deep freeze, and vacuum seal a generator. Oh man, Elizabeth, we're about to get a crazy delivery.
I have a generator. Yeah. My entire house is electric, so I've always kept a generator in my house just in case everything goes to complete darkness.
Well, make sure you use it outside.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah. Yep, that is true.
So this is kind of like Camari made this point too. We need weekend programs for our children and the adults to talk about financial preparedness and careers. Somehow create a network of those who are in different industries who talk about teach, mentor, and employ. We need an entire machine that overhauls education, and we need to press for tech as well as trade in schools. Elizabeth says we need to know how to create a fire, learn how to grow food from wooden crates and seeds, learn to collect rainwater. Now we talking, y'all.
I watched Nikki and the Afraid, so
yeah, yes, you got it. Like it's basic stuff. You be like, wait a minute, I might need to learn this.
She might slave this, so that book has been come up a lot of times on the course of the show.
Yeah,
man, you got that fact. They got one of the book. They say how to find the edible plants. We should have that book.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
That is a must. And at what point they're edible? Because some plants are edible at certain stages.
Yep.
Because that was part of what I had to do in the military. Because that was part of our reading in the military.
So Jimmy, real quick, right? So Saturday school is not my idea. Just to be clear, right? There's a lot of other cultures.
No, they do. No, I was just giving you the credit because you're the first one to bring it up on the show.
No. I just want to expound on it, right?
Yeah. Like, okay.
What you have many Asian communities that do it. You have a lot of Jewish communities that do it. They do it for one reason, really, right?
To keep culture.
Thank you, Corey. To keep culture, right? Yeah, I talk about culture a lot. To maintain culture and education, but the education is there to maintain the culture, right? So they can get jobs and do everything else. But it always comes back to the culture. And so for us as Black folks, we're kind of in the middle. Sometimes we want to be American some days we want to be Aboriginals, some days we want to be Africans. And it's going to be really hard for us to really mount a real offensive against anything that's already organized against us until we decide what we really want to be and organize around that.
From what I've seen in Atlanta, we just want to be rich. That's it.
Yeah, and that's the problem. So that's
the problem. Is rich for what though? That's the problem. Is it rich for more consumer?
Yeah, that's the question.
That's the question.
I always take it back. They don't want to be rich. They wouldn't be just richer than everybody else they know.
Yeah,
there's
nothing wrong with healthy competition. That's healthy competition.
Yeah, but
not the way that Malik said it. Listen, we all, in a way, have a healthy competition, right? For example, I was joking around with Corey and Jimmy about them interviewing Talisha. I want them to interview Talisha, though. Talisha Sean, shout out to Talisha Sean, right? Because she's helping people understand about blockchain. But I'm going to look, all right, did Jimmy have a good interview? What questions did he have? He's probably going to look at me and say, well, what questions did he have? And how do we get better so we can then put better information out to the community? It's not really about self-edification, though.
Bro, Kanye West said, we buy stuff just to say, Libyan, you ain't up on this. All right, so, and it's the truth. I've seen people go broke just to stun on somebody.
Yeah,
I mean, we see it every Christmas season.
Monica, what's the name of the book you was reading, Monica? She's reading a book by the same sister that wrote Cass, and she was telling me a story from the book, but it was talking about historically how folks would literally save up months worth of their savings from work to come from down south, right? I'm sorry, to talk about what's going on up north, to brag to their folks they left down south, but they would literally go broke. So this is like stuff that's been going on for years. To say, man, I moved up here down here.
Is that the
Warmth of Other Suns? That's it. That's the name of the book. Yeah, I haven't read it, but she was telling me about it. I still
everybody saying that one's really good.
I can't get through Cash yet. Yo, Cash messed my whole book reading up because it's like it's just too rough. But so Andrea says that she has a customer that sends their kids to Saturday school to learn Chinese.
Mm-hmm. So,
all right, Monica says that so many of my friends teach their children to sit quietly and politely in school.
Correct.
Questioning is considered disrespectful.
Correct. And that's a lot of the thought process in our homes too. Children are seen and not heard.
I heard, man, listen, man.
You know what I mean?
But to be fair,
we have to legit unlearn that because this world will eat them up and spit them out if they don't speak up.
I mean, that ain't what I told my son, but sometimes he go a little bit too far.
Hey, listen, I got one of them. I got one of them boss babies too, dog. The babies don't care, man. Like, yo, they don't give a damn. And listen, I don't take it from them though. But that's the thing. I don't take that from my son. Like, if he's having an issue and he wants to speak up about it, speak up. Say what it is. Now, we might not always agree about how the outcome is going to turn out, but you got to tell me so that we can figure out an outcome. If I can help you walk through something, if you're having some kind of difficulties, I have to know. I can't help you. I'm not a mind reader. I can read body language, but I'm not a mind reader. So I need you to be able to articulate what's going on so I can help you get
Don
through.
says, I keep
I want to throw another angle.
The bird's not getting get bored. Okay, go ahead.
So I totally agree. I teach my kids the same thing about being respectful and also voicing your opinion respectfully. I put heavy emphasis on respectfully. But this is something Courtney and I talk about. Our community also has a hard problem dealing with conflict resolution. It's basically non-existent. And so when we teach our kids to speak up and not teach them about conflict resolution,
right?
We got to do both. Because oftentimes we will see heads butting and folks don't know how to deal with that.
You know how my sons resolve conflict resolution in the streets? Tiger uppercut.
When got him Leviosa.
I'm just talking.
All right, real quick.
That's not how they resolve it.
We just
went left. All right, so that is the name of the book, Warmth of Other Suns. All right, let me see. Let's close out here. So our kids are so wrapped up in sports and extracurricular activities on the weekend that something like this would be in direct conflict. Ooh.
Correct.
Listen,
that's not a bad thing, though.
Hold on, real quick. Let's get to the comments, Corey. So, because I saw the story right here, which was crazy. Dude won $30K in the lottery, spent $20K on the chain, and got robbed the next day on camera. By the way,
on camera, I saw it. It was nasty.
But the fact that he spent $20K on a chain, he just won $30K and spent $20 right away on the chain.
Listen, he kept the extra
in the hood too.
He left the extra in the pay.
He can't show his face or somebody else going robbing for the 10 racks.
Listen. Wow, bro. But yeah. I was that kid, and I'm still that kid asking questions because you sound stupid. Parents taught me to think, but got mad when it was across the board. It questioned everybody but me, right? Conflict resolution and emotional intelligence.
Facts.
Emotional intelligence. That's the other portion of the speaking.
Man.
That needs to be done. And understand this, y'all. A lot of this progression and moving the culture forward and being prepared and all of that stuff is great. But if we aren't able to be emotional intelligent as parents and children, it's not going to work. Because the kids can't be learning all these great blockchains and different things and speaking up. And then they come in the household and they getting cussed out and beat up and all kinds of things and not supported in their households. So,
yeah. That's all 100% facts. Like there's a lot of great programs out there, and there have been for years. And then they go into environments where they spend 16 hours a day getting to something totally different than when they go to the great environment for 7 to 8 hours.
All right, let's move real quick because we only got a couple minutes left. I just want to say that EQ is greater than IQ. T-shirt is on fatherhood.com. Anyway, karma's real out here in these streets. Buy stupid shit, win stupid prizes. My daughter is teaching herself Japanese because she wants to.
Amazing.
Okay, nice.
Amazing.
Nice. All right, man. So listen, man, we're going to get out of here. Before we get out of here, does anybody have any last thoughts that they have to get off their chest before we get out of here, folks, man? Because this has been another amazing episode. We saw Camari get really sassy tonight, so he enjoyed that.
Did you just call another grown man sassy?
Listen, man,
he got Corey.
No.
Listen.
I gotta push back.
Hold on.
I gotta push back.
I mean,
listen, Corey, are you taking up for me?
Yeah, I gotta push back, man.
Wow.
I'm not going to say when he went up and called Courtney.
I gotta push back.
Come on,
He
boo.
called me boo boo.
Boo-boo. Like,
I really don't do that.
Listen. I thought it was funny. I think Camari was in his bag tonight. I see that not hosting.
Yo, you call it sassy though, dog. You got it. Yo, I gotta push back. No,
listen, it's all love. It's all love, man. Camari.
So I have a question for the audience, right?
Go ahead.
So y'all see me host often. Jimmy's hosting now. My vision, I would like everybody to be able to host.
Oh,
Malik, Traci, Courtney, Corey, all of us, right? Because oftentimes, some of y'all may get this, some of y'all don't. The Black World Project is also a point of symbolism. We're trying to exhibit that we can all work together and be our own cell. Somebody brought this up last week. I'm not going to mention it.
Come on, man. Why are you supposed to let that go? Let that go.
No. Listen. I'm serious right now. But it's important for all of us to shine. It's important for all of us to be replaceable, right? So if I'm not here, somebody else can be here, and the show goes on, and we keep things going. What I want to know from the audience, would y'all like to see other people host? Who would you like to see host next?
Well, listen, man, I think as a part of being a good leader, you got to know when to be a good follower. Camari, you can host a show.
Listen,
I want to tell y'all right now.
Before we get out of here,
you can't let that fly. Malik's so full of shit right now. Me and Malik, and listen, I love Malik for the record, right? But his ass is so contentious all the time. He always causes problems. So,
here's the question I have for the audience.
We need you up next.
What R&B king or queen should we give recognition to that doesn't get their flowers, man? Because y'all really brought up Ike Turner right here, but it's so many other ones that don't get their flowers.
I think Neo should get his flowers. That man is the modern day Smokey Robinson in terms of writing. He embodies Mike Jack.
I mean,
and
if you want to talk about writing credits, Kerry Hilson got a lot of writing credits.
Hey, the dream, man. The dream.
I'm a Dream fan as well.
Kiki Wyatt.
Yeah, well, whoa. I mean, yeah, she can sing too.
Yeah, she can sing.
Okay, so we got a Melanie Fiona in the comments, as well as Pastor Traci next. Listen, we got to bring our tissues and our. If Pastor Traci start the host, we got to bring.
Yeah, man. Y'all better close the door when y'all talk about.
Listen, we gotta get a cash app
because we gonna have a family talk if Traci get on.
Listen. I do like the Neo one, Camari. Hey, Camari, listen, we actually are in agreement. I think next week we got to give Neo his flowers, right? I like all the names you guys said, but Neo is another. Like, I don't think Neo gets his just due because I gotta.
Yeah, he got a lot. He got a lot of stuff in the streets. No,
I think Bilal for sure.
Yeah,
Bilal's fire. You know who else is fire? Right from the city, who got a crate. I was listening to his Music Soul Child.
Yeah,
right?
Man. His albums.
He got some. I was just going back like. Damn.
He got bangers.
Hold on. Hey, Jimmy, I think it's a part of hosting. You're supposed to wrap this show, not start new topics.
I know, good brother. I am wrapping the show. I was giving folks an opportunity.
That's exactly why Malik should host.
Exactly. I was giving I know what I'm doing, right? Because first of all, it's about the number. I'm trying to hit a certain number, but I also want to make sure that folks have an opportunity to answer the question that was just put out there. So we got Traci. So everybody's saying Traci.
I want anybody else got any commentary? Who else y'all want to see host next?
Hey, what y'all think about? Anybody like Melanie Fiona?
She's good.
I do like Melanie. I'm a fan. Jill Scott.
Jasmine Sullivan. Hold up, though.
Jasmine.
Yeah, her new single going crazy though.
Crazy.
Hold up, though. Her new album is crazy, but hold up, though.
Album crazy.
I got a question about this right here, though. I like Bilal, right? But I might have to push back a little bit on this comment.
No, listen, you can push back all you want. Firstborn second is like one of the top 5 R&B albums, period.
All right, but the most underrated, period?
Yeah,
Firstborn Second is a masterful album.
But the most underrated, period. Like that's just the most underrated. Like,
listen to Firstborn Second.
It might not be. That might be an underrated album, but is he the most underrated artist? Period.
I can't say that. You know,
well, that's what the comments say. That's all I'm saying.
That's what the comments say.
I'm not slandering.
Yeah,
because
my wife listens to the album constantly.
Yeah, so listen. Firstborn Second, you can put that on. You know, whenever, man. But
shout out to our brother Lorenzo, who's in the comments. I want to see Malik host the show.
Yeah. Next one, Malik. Let's do it.
Listen, I've seen Malik host the show before.
I have,
you know. I mean, you know, some of his contemporaries was like in restaurants busting grubs on the show, but it was still fire.
Correct.
So listen, I do want to say this about Bilal. One of my most favorite songs, reminiscences on that album. You got Black Thought, you got Comedy, you got Bilal. Song's masterful.
Listen. I will say this. I don't know. I started getting emotional in my later ages, right? But if I listen to Bilal, Little Ones, I get. When I have my son listen to that song. Whole new meaning, you know. If anybody has not heard "Little Ones" by Bilal, listen to it. Song is ridiculous.
Right, so we ain't got to bring him back. We just gave him his flowers. No, he's an amazing artist, but I just don't know about most underrated. Period. Like that's all I was saying. Because there's a lot of folks that don't get their flowers. Camari brought up a good one, like me.
Ooh, Cdzorey came with an old school joint.
Ooh. He definitely does that for albums. But that's the one album y'all seem to love, Andrea. But Cody Chestnut.
Pass.
I listen to Cody Chestnut. Listen, that was my boy. I Look Good in Leather. Listen, I watched that video a bazillion times.
So next week we giving Chico DeBarge his flowers. But with that being said.
We'll have something. We'll argue about it during the week, and then we'll bring it to y'all.
Kavon Edmonds. All right, it's time to get out of here, though, folks. Listen, we appreciate you as always. Thank you guys for tuning and kicking with us every Sunday. We'll check you here next Sunday, same time, same bad channel. But for the Black Wealth Project, we're signing out for the evening. Just want to say peace and love, peace and soul.
Bye.
Later.
Eddie Murphy.